Listen to me. You've been living in a box somebody else built for you. You've been told what's possible and you believed it. But I'm telling you today, it's time to push past possible. Don't let their limits become your reality. You were born with greatness in your blood. Now it's time to activate it. Listen to me. Most people spend their entire lives locked inside a prison that doesn't even have walls. You know what the prison is? It's the world of possible. They live inside it like it's the end of the road. Like it's the final stop on the journey. But what they don't understand is that a possible was never supposed to be the destination. It was just the starting point. Possible is not a limit, it's just permission. But if you're going to be great, if you're going to live the life you were meant to live, you got to push past it. They said it was impossible to break the 4-minute mile. Doctors said the human heart would explode. And for years, nobody broke it because they believed that it couldn't be done. Then one man, Roger Bannister, said, I'm not buying that. He pushed past what others said was possible and broke it. You know what happened after that? Dozens of others broke the same record. Because when someone shows the world what's possible, the limits fall. But it always starts with somebody who's willing to say, I don't care what they said. I believe there's more. That's what I'm trying to tell you today. Your life is not defined by what others think is realistic. Your purpose isn't tied to the boundaries set by people who gave up on their own dream. You can't let someone else's ceiling become your floor. You can't let their fear become your facts. When you were born, there wasn't a list that said, these are the only things you can do. That list was written later by society, by school, by people who didn't believe. But just because they wrote it doesn't mean you have to follow it. You gotta be willing to push. You gotta be willing to go to that edge where everyone else stops and take one more step. Do you hear what I'm saying? Most people get to the edge of discomfort and turn around. They say, that's too much. That's too far. That's not realistic. And that's why they never taste greatness. That's why they wake up every day feeling empty, stuck, frustrated. Because they never broke out of a possible. They stayed where it was safe. But I'm not talking to people who want to be safe. I'm talking to the ones who want to be legendary. The truth is, possible is too small for you. Your gift is bigger than that. Your calling is bigger than that. You're over here trying to shrink your vision to fit their version of reality. And I'm telling you to stop. You were not built for average. You were not built to blend in. You were born to stand out, to break molds, to do what's never been done. But to do that, you've got to be willing to get uncomfortable. You've got to be willing to be misunderstood. You've got to be willing to be the first one to climb out of the box. Nobody said it would be easy. Nobody said people would cheer for you in the beginning. Most won't even believe in you until it's done. But if you're waiting on applause to push forward, you'll never move. If you're waiting on people to get it, to support it, to celebrate it, you're going to die in that cage called a possible. You gotta believe when nobody else does. You gotta fight for your dream when the only one in your corner is you. You got to trust the process even when you don't see progress. That's how you push past possible. You don't let today's limitations define tomorrow's reality. You wake up and go to war with the version of yourself that's afraid. You shut down the voice in your head that says, what if I fail? And you replace it with a what if I succeed? You take that fear and you turn it into fuel. You take that doubt and you turn it into drive. Let me ask you something. What's the worst that can happen if you try? You fall, you struggle, you lose, you get back up, you learn, you grow. You fight harder. That's what separates the greats. They didn't avoid pain. They mastered it. They didn't wait for opportunity. They created it. They didn't stop it possible. They broke through it. So if you're serious, if you're really about this life, stop living according to what they say is possible. Start building a life based on what you know is inside you. Let the world call it crazy. Let them say it can't be done. That's just a sign you're on the right path. You weren't born to fit in the frame. You were born to break it. Push, pass, possible. You weren't built to be average. I don't care where you were born, your last name is, how many times you failed, or what your bank account looks like right now. You were not put on this earth just to survive, to blend in, to follow the crowd, and then die. That's not your purpose. That's not why you were created. There's something inside you. Something powerful, something rare, something relentless. And it wasn't meant to stay hidden. It was meant to break out. It was meant to break barriers. You've been told your whole life what you can't do. They told you what was too hard. They told you your dreams were too big. They looked at where you came from and judged where you could go. They labeled you. They doubted you. They laughed at you, and somewhere along the way, you started believing them. You started lowering your expectation. But you started shrinking your dreams to fit their comfort zone. I'm here to remind you, their limits are not your destiny. When you were a kid, you dreamed without filters. You believed anything was possible. You wanted to fly, to build, to lead, to conquer. But as you got older, they told you to be unrealistic. They told you to be careful. They told you to settle. And slowly, that fire inside you started to dim. But it didn't go out. It's still there. That spark is still burning, waiting for you to breathe life into it again. That's the part of you that knows you're meant for more. That's the part of you that refuses to accept average. Don't let the world box you in. Don't let statistics define you. They said people from your neighborhood don't make it. So what? They said people who grew up like you don't succeed. That's their story, not yours. You got your own book to write. And every time you choose courage over comfort, every time you take a step forward when it's easier to quit, you're writing a new chapter. One that proves you weren't built to be average. You were born to break barriers. Breaking barriers doesn't mean you won't face resistance. In fact, it means you'll face more. Because the moment you decide to rise, the world will push back. People will question you. They'll try to pull you down to their level because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. Your drive reminds them of what they gave up on. But don't you dare dim your light just because others can or the glare. Don't you dare lower your standards just to fit in. You gotta be willing to walk alone if necessary. You gotta be willing to be misunderstood. You gotta be willing to be misunderstood. You gotta be okay with being different. Because greatness is never found in the crowd. It's found in the ones who dare to go their own way. It's found in the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices nobody sees. It's found in the silence when nobody's clapping, but you're still grinding. That's where legends are made. You've got to make a decision. Right here, right now. Are you going to keep living small just because it's safe? Or are you going to step into the life you were designed for? Are you going to keep letting fear write your story? Or are you going to take the pen back and write your own future? It's on you, not your parents, not your past, not your teacher, not your boss. You got the power. You got the choice. You got the fire. You want to break generational curses? You want to build something no one in your family has ever built? You want to go where no one you know has gone? Then stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for somebody to come save you. Nobody's come. This is your life. And every second you waste doubting yourself is a second you could be building, growing, creating, pushing. They're not going to understand your hunger. They're not going to get why you wake up early, why you work when they sleep, why you dream so big it scares you. But that's okay. It's not for them to understand. It's for you to execute. It's for you to become the example they never saw coming. Because when you finally break through, when you finally succeed, and you will, the same people who doubted you will say they always believed in you. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it wasn't luck. It wasn't a handout. It was discipline. It was sacrifice. It was your refusal to settle. It was your decision to believe in yourself when nobody else did. That's how barriers are broken. So stop waiting. Stop shrinking. Stop asking for permission to be great. You weren't built to be average. You were born to shake the world. Now go do it. Pain is the price of pushing. If you're serious about leveling up, if you're serious about breaking limits and doing what nobody else in your circle has done, then you better get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because there is no greatness without struggle. There is no breakthrough without some kind of breakdown. Every time you step into a new level, every time you push past the boundary that's been holding you back, pain is going to show up. That's the toll you pay for transformation. That's the cost of evolution. But the mistake most people make is they treat pain like a stop sign instead of a signal to keep moving. Most people run from pain. They feel discomfort and immediately pull back. They start something new, and as soon as it gets tough, they quit. As soon as it hurts, they start looking for a way out. But what they don't understand is that pain is not the enemy. It's the proof that you're growing. It's the signal that you're stretching, that you're leaving the old version of yourself behind and stepping into something stronger. If you never feel pain, it means you're not pushing hard enough. It means you're stuck inside your comfort zone and nothing great ever grows there. Look at any champion, any legend, any icon. They all have one thing in common. They went through something. They suffered. They sacrificed. They endured. You don't get to be great without it. You don't get to build legacy by doing what's easy. The world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards courage. It rewards people who push through the hurt, who show up even when it's hard, who keep grinding even when it feels like everything is against them. That's where greatness is forged, in the fire of adversity. You gotta flip the way you see pain. Instead of running from it, you've got to run toward it. Because pain is not a punishment. It's preparation. It's shaping you. It's building something in you that can't be developed in ease. You don't grow in the good times. You grow in the struggle. You grow when it's 5 a.m. and you're tired, but you still show up. You grow when you lose and decide to keep fighting. You grow when people walk away and you keep going anyway. That's when your character is tested. That's when your heart is revealed. You've got to stop waiting for it to feel good. You've got to stop expecting it to be easy. The grind is supposed to hurt. The journey is supposed to stretch you. That's how you know you're alive. That's how you know you're becoming something greater. Every rep in the gym that burns, that's growth. Every long night of studying, practicing, building when you rather sleep, that's growth. Every rejection, every failure, every no that you turn into fuel, that's growth. And here's the thing, pain is temporary. It may last for a minute, an hour, a week, a month, but it will not last forever if you keep moving. If you quit though, that pain becomes permanent. It becomes regret. And regret is a pain far heavier than any struggle you're facing right now. Regret stays with you. It whispers to you at night. It follows you into every room. You don't want that kind of pain. You want the pain that leads to purpose. You want to be different? You want to be great? Then make a decision. You're going to embrace the pain. You're going to welcome the struggle. You're going to lean into it because you know what's on the other side. The other side of pain is strength. The other side of pain is confidence. The other side of pain is legacy. Every tear, every bruise, every scar, that's your story being written in real time. And the only people who truly win are the ones willing to walk through the fire to reach the other side. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were stronger. Don't pray for fewer challenges. Pray for greater endurance. Don't ask for the pain to go away. Ask for the strength to push through it. Because once you learn how to push through pain, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person that nothing can break. You become the kind of person people look up to. People talk about, people try to follow because you did what most wouldn't. You paid the price. So next time pain shows up, don't flinch. Don't fold. Don't run. Stand your ground. Smile if you have to. Because that pain, that's not the end. That's the beginning of something powerful, something the old version of you couldn't handle. But the new version of you, cool. The one you're becoming through all of this, that version is built for it. That version thrives in it. That version knows the truth. Pain is the price of pushing, and greatness is worth every ounce. Nobody hands you greatness. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, here's your dream. It doesn't work like that. If you want something in this life, if you want the kind of success that changes generations, that flips your entire story upside down, you're gonna have to fight for it. Not once, not twice, but over and over, day after day. Because this journey isn't about who's the most talented, the smartest, or the most connected. It's about who's willing to keep showing up when it stops being exciting. Who's willing to grind when it gets boring. Who's willing to stay in the ring long after others have thrown in the towel. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Everybody wants the success, the shine, the spotlight, but they don't want the sacrifice. They don't want the struggle. They don't want the sweat that comes with it. See, that's the difference between winners and everybody else. Winners don't just chase success when it's convenient. They stay committed when it's hard. They show up when it hurts. They grind when no one's clapping. They fight when the world is telling them to quit. You got to be willing to outlast the pain. That's what this whole game is about. Endurance, resilience, stamina, not talent, not hype, not how loud you talk or how many followers you got. That's not what wins championships. What wins is your ability to stay locked in, when it feels like nothing's working, when the results are slow, when the doors keep closing, when the people who said they support you are nowhere to be found. That's when most people fall off. But not you. Not if you really want this. You got to stop looking at the clock. Stop worrying about how long it's taking. Success is now on your schedule. Your job isn't to control the timing. Your job is to control the effort. If it takes 6 months, good. If it takes 6 years, better. Because the longer it takes, the more it molds you. The more it breaks off the weakness. The more it builds the kind of discipline that can sustain the level of success you're chasing. It's not about getting there fast. It's about becoming the kind of person who can stay there once you arrive. And that's not going to happen by accident. It's going to happen because you made a decision. A decision to keep going even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you feel like a failure. Especially then, because those moments, that's where the real growth happens. Not in the comfort, not in the applause, but in the struggle, in the silence, in the fight nobody sees but you. That's where your character is forged. That's where your identity is built. Every time you get knocked down, you got a choice. Stay down or get back up. And every time you choose to rise, you're teaching yourself something powerful, that you are not defined by your circumstances. You're not defined by failure. You're not defined by what they said you couldn't do. You are defined by your response, by your ability to keep swinging, keep climbing, keep grinding, no matter how many hits you take. This isn't about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you'll feel like it. Most days you won't. This is about discipline. It's about commitment. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, because you made a promise to yourself and you're not going to break that promise. Not now, not ever. You got to want it so bad that you're willing to look crazy, willing to be misunderstood, willing to risk it all, willing to risk it all. Because let me tell you, there will be days when the only thing keeping you going is your vision. When the only voice pushing you forward is your own. That's why it's so important that you know why you're doing this. Not for the lights, not for the lights, not for the approval, but because deep down, you know you were built for more. You know there's greatness in you, and you're not stopping until you see it become real. So you've got to dig in. You've got to lock in. You've got to get up every single day and say, no matter what happens today, I'm still in the fight. I'm still pushing. I'm still focused. I'm still chasing. Because this isn't just about achieving a goal. It's about becoming a warrior. It's about becoming someone you can be proud of. Someone who doesn't back down. Someone who doesn't quit. Someone who doesn't stop until the dream is real. So don't look for the easy way. Don't pray for shortcuts. Pray for strength. Pray for endurance. Pray for the kind of grit that doesn't break when life hits hard. Because the truth is, most people won't make it. Not because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't. Because they didn't stay in the fight long enough to win. You're not most people. You're not built to quit. You're not wired to lose. You were born to rise. You were born to rise. Born to overcome. Born to fight until you win. The reason most people never reach their full potential is because they let fear and failure define their ceiling. They hit a wall, they stumble, they fall, and then they stop. They see failure as the end of the story instead of a critical part of the journey. But the truth is, failure isn't final. It's feedback. It's the universe asking, how bad do you really want this? It's the fire that refines. It's the pressure that forms the diamond. And if you learn to embrace failure, if you stop running from it and start learning from it, you'll realize it's not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. You see, when you fail, you're not being punished. You're being shaped. You're being challenged to evolve. You're being given the opportunity to grow in ways success could never teach you. Success can be deceptive. It can make you soft. It can make you believe you've arrived. But failure humbles you. It strips away your ego. It forces you to look at yourself and ask the tough questions. Where did I go wrong? What can I do better? What am I missing? That process, that uncomfortable, honest evaluation, that's what builds real champions. The most dangerous mindset you can have is one that fears failure so much that you stop trying. That mindset will paralyze you. It will keep you stuck in the same place, doing the same things, getting the same results year after year. But when you flip your mindset, when you decide that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone, everything changes. Now you're not afraid to take risks. You're not afraid to stretch yourself. You're not afraid to look stupid or mess up because you understand that every loss is a lesson. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Think about every successful person you admire. Every entrepreneur, athlete, artist, or leader. They've all failed. Some of them have failed spectacularly. They've lost money, lost relationships, lost opportunity. They've been laughed at, rejected, told they weren't good enough, but they kept going. They refused to let the fall define them. They used it. They learned from it. They got stronger because of it, and eventually they won. Not because they were lucky, but because they kept showing up. They kept swinging. They kept learning. And so can you. You got to be willing to look failure in the face and say, you don't scare me. You got to stop letting it bully you. Stop letting it silence you. Stop letting it shrink your dream. You were not born to play it safe. You were not born to live in a bubble of comfort. You were born to break barriers, to shatter ceiling, to go beyond what anyone thought was possible. And that's only going to happen if you're willing to fail and fail forward. That means taking a shot even if you miss. That means launching the idea even if it flops. That means putting your heart on the line even if it gets broken. Because every time you do, you grow. You gain wisdom, you gain strength, you gain clarity, and eventually if you stay with it long enough, you gain victory. But here's the key. You can't just fail and move on. You've got to fail with focus. You've got to study the loss. You got to extract the lessons. You got to be intentional about how you bounce back. Because there's no power in failing if you don't grow from it. There's no value in falling if you get back up the same. The whole point of the failure is to make you better, sharper, wiser, more dangerous next time around. So stop avoiding the fall. Stop playing so cautious that you never even step into the arena. Step into the arena. Get in the game. Swing the bat. Take the shot. Say yes. Try again. Because you never know. This time it might work. And even if it doesn't, you'll be one step closer. One lesson wiser. 1 inch tougher. That's how progress is made. Not in leaps, but in steady, relentless forward motion. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more real people. People who aren't afraid to look flawed. People who are willing to risk failure in pursuit of purpose. People who understand that true greatness isn't about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. So give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself the grace to grow. And most of all, give yourself the freedom to keep going no matter what. Because failure is not the end. It's the forge. It's the furnace. It's the fire that burns away the old version of you and prepares you for what's next. And if you're willing to walk through it, if you're willing to embrace the pain, the embarrassment, the disappointment, then you'll come out the other side forged in focus, tested by fire and ready to do what others only dream about. So fail big, fail bold. But whatever you do, don't stop. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep moving. Because one day, that thing that broke you, it'll become the reason you finally broke through. You've got to understand something deep. If you can see it in your mind, if it burns in your soul, if it haunts you in the quiet moments when nobody's around, then it's possible. But the fact that it's possible doesn't mean it's promised. Possibility alone won't bring it to life. You've got to do more than dream. You've got to believe. You've got to have the kind of belief that moves your feet when your body is tired. The kind of belief that shuts out the noise of the world. The kind of belief that doesn't need confirmation from others because it's already confirmed in your heart. The truth is, we all have something inside of us. A vision, a gift, a mission, something that feels too big, too crazy, too impossible for the life we're currently living. And that's exactly why you have to chase it. Because the very thing that scares you, the very thing that feels too far away, too unlikely, that's what you're meant to go after. The size of the vision is proof of the size of your potential. But if you don't believe in it, if you don't trust that it's possible, then all it will ever be is a daydream. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Sometimes the first step is small, sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's terrifying. But what matters is that you take it. Because belief without action is just wishful thinking. It's motion without movement. But when you act, even in fear, even in doubt, you start building momentum. You start proving to yourself that maybe, just maybe, you got what it takes. And that feeling, that's where confidence is born. But understand this, your belief is going to be tested. Life's going to throw obstacles in your way. People are going to laugh. Friends might walk away. Plans might fall apart. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign to keep going. Because every challenge, every delay, every closed door is refining your belief. It's showing you whether you really want this or just like the idea of it. If your belief can survive failure, if it can survive silence, if it can survive rejection, then nothing can stop you. You've got to protect your belief like a flame in the wind. Guard it from negativity. Guard it from doubt. Don't let someone who gave up on their dreams talk you out of yours. Don't let the fear of what might go wrong keep you from finding out what could go right. You got one shot at this life. One. Don't waste it playing small. Don't waste it shrinking your dream to fit the limits of others. Stretch yourself. Reach. Risk. Believe bigger. There's a version of you that you haven't met yet. A version with confidence in their stride and fire in their voice. A version who's already walking in the success you're dreaming of. But you can't become that version until you believe like they believe, until you see what they see, until you carry yourself like it's already done, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. You move different when you believe it's yours. You speak different. You hustle different. You expect more. You attract more. And no, belief doesn't eliminate the work. It fuels the work. It gives your discipline a reason. It gives your effort a purpose. It gives your pain a context. When you believe, you're not just grinding blindly. You're moving with conviction. You know what you're building. You know why you're suffering. You know what's waiting on the other side. That belief turns every struggle into strategy, every delay into development, every setback into setup. Most people quit not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked belief. They couldn't see it anymore. They stopped trusting the process. They stopped trusting themselves, and so they gave up right before it got good. Don't let that be you. Even when it gets dark, keep your vision in front of you. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself daily of where you're headed. Because when you keep it close, it fuels your courage. It keeps your feet moving even when your heart is heavy. Belief isn't loud. It doesn't have to be flashy. Sometimes belief is quiet. It's in the way you keep waking up early when no one's watching. It's in the way you keep showing up day after day when results are slow. It's in the way you hold your head up even after you've been knocked down. That's belief. That's power. That's how dreams are built. One quiet act of faith at a time. So believe in your gift. Believe in your grind. Believe in your greatness, even if no one else does, especially if no one else does. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and the life you were born to live is whether you truly believe it's possible and whether you're willing to move like it already is. Most people think the key to success is finding the right opportunity. They wait for a perfect time, a perfect break, or someone to come and open a door for them. But the truth is, opportunity doesn't show up for people who wait. It shows up for people who create it. It shows up for the ones who are already moving, already building, already chasing. You got to stop waiting for the world to hand you permission. You got to stop asking for someone to validate your dream. If you want the life you imagine, you have to take full responsibility for it, build it, chase it with everything in you. There are people out there less talented than you, less prepared than you, with fewer resources than you, but they're winning. Not because they're better than you, but because they started. They took what they had and they moved. They acted on an idea. They used what was in their hands. And while others were sitting on the sidelines waiting for the stars to align, they were in the game, learning, growing, adjusting, and getting better every day. You don't have to wait until it's perfect. You don't have to wait until you have more support. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. Start now. Start scared. Start small, but start. You've got to stop blaming your circumstances. Stop pointing to your past. Stop talking about what your family didn't do for you, what your school didn't teach you, what the world didn't give you. That mindset is a trap. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you powerless. If you keep waiting for external things to change, you'll be waiting forever. But the moment you take ownership, the moment you decide, this is my life, and I'm going to make something out of it, everything changes. But because when you take responsibility, you take control. There's power in responsibility. It means you're not a victim of your situation. You're a builder of your future. It means you're not waiting for a chance. You're creating one. That shift in mindset, that shift in language, that shift in action, that's the difference between the ones who talk and the ones who do. So, what are you building today? What habits? What routines? What skills? What skills? What character? Because those things are the foundation of your future. Dream isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. It's built in the hours no one sees. It's built in the grind. And I know it's not easy. It's not supposed to be. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna get discouraged. There will be days where you feel invisible, days when you feel like the work you're putting in is leading nowhere. But I'm telling you, if you stay consistent, if you keep sowing, if you keep doing the work with integrity and passion, the results will come. The breakthrough will come. The opportunity will come. And when it does, you'll be ready for it. Because you didn't just wish for it. You worked for it. Nobody owes you anything. Let that sink in. The world doesn't owe you a platform. It doesn't owe you followers. It doesn't owe you a paycheck. Everything you want, the influence, the impact, the legacy, you gotta earn it. Not just once, but daily. With discipline, with focus, with relentless effort. You gotta be the kind of person who gets up even when the feelings aren't there. The kind of person who doesn't need applause to stay committed. The kind of person who has already decided, no matter what happens, I'm not backing down. People who win when not lucky, they're locked in. They're locked into their routine, locked into their purpose, locked into their vision. They don't quit when it gets hard. They double down. They don't whine when they hit resistance. They rise. They don't let circumstances dictate their drive. They let their dream drive their discipline. And that's exactly what you need. A mindset that says, if I don't have it, I'll build it. If I don't know it, I'll learn it. If no one helps me, I'll help myself. That's ownership. That's real power. That's real power. You're not waiting on a break. You are the break. You're not waiting on a savior. You are the solution. You're not stuck. You're just one decision away from changing everything. So get up, move, build, improve, hustle. Grind, fail, learn, grow, repeat. Because the dream isn't gonna chase you. You got to chase it. When you do, when you commit like your life depends on it. When you push past comfort and convenience. When you show the universe that you're serious. Then doors open. Then people take notice. Then favor finds you. But none of that happens if you keep waiting. Don't wait for the perfect time. Make the time perfect. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Work the plan you got. Don't wait for the right people. Become the right person. Because in the end, the ones who succeed aren't the ones who had the best circumstances. They're the ones who refuse to sit around and let life happen to them. When you decide to chase your dream, you're not just committing to a goal. You're declaring war on everything inside you that wants to stay comfortable, stay average, stay safe. And in that war, there will be moments when you're exhausted, frustrated, and uncertain. You feel like giving up. You'll question if it's worth it. And that's when you gotta fight the hardest. Because greatness doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most disciplined. The ones who kept going when others quit. Discipline is the bridge between your dream and your reality. It's what separates the talkers from the doers, the wishers from the winners. Motivation will start you, but it's discipline that will keep you moving when the hype fades and the excitement dies. Every morning that you wake up early to grind when no one's watching. Every evening you spend studying, practicing, or building while others are relaxing. That's discipline. That's you telling the world, I don't need to feel like it. I just do it. But discipline isn't glamorous. It's lonely. It's boring. It's repetitive. There are no crowds, no applause, no social media lights. Just you, your goals, and the work. And that's why most people don't stick with it. They crave results, but they aren't willing to commit to the process. But here's the truth. You'll never be great if you only show up when it's convenient. You'll never master your craft if you only train when you feel good. Discipline means you move regardless of how you feel. When it's cold outside and your bed feels warm, discipline gets you up. When your friends are out having fun and you're alone working, discipline keeps you focused. When you're tired, broke, and feel like nothing is working, discipline whispers, keep going. That voice is your edge. That's the difference maker. Not talent, not luck, not connection. Discipline. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? That's the wrong question. Motivation comes and goes. Or some days you wake up fired up, other days you won't want to do a thing. And that's where most people lose. They wait for the feelings to guide the action. You can't live like that. Champions act their way into feeling. They don't wait for inspiration. They create it through action. You train when it's hard. You show up when you don't want to. Because every time you follow through, even when you don't feel like it, you build a stronger version of yourself. And let's get something straight. You don't need to be perfect. You're going to miss some days. You're going to fail. You're going to get distracted. That's normal. But what matters is that you don't stay down. Get back up, recommit, reset. Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about always rising. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep showing up. Consistency beats perfection every time. There are going to be seasons where it feels like nothing is working. You're grinding, it's working. You're grinding and nobody sees it. You're sacrificing and it feels like there's no reward. But don't you dare give up. That's the test. That's where most people fold. But not you. You're different. You don't just want it. You're built for it. You've made up your mind that quitting is not an option. You burned the plan B. You've locked in. That discipline will elevate you. It will separate you. While others are making excuses, you're executing. While others are hesitating, you're building momentum. And eventually, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the world will take notice. Your consistency will turn into confidence. Your struggle will turn into strength. And your discipline will pay off in ways you never imagined. You don't become a champion when you win the medal. You become a champion in the daily routine, the sacrifices, the discipline that nobody sees. That's where real greatness is born. Not in a moment of celebration, but in the grind that came before it. And when you finally stand on that stage, when your dream becomes your reality, you'll know it wasn't talent that brought you there. It wasn't luck. It was the discipline to do what had to be done, day in and day out, without excuses. So if you're tired, keep going. If you're unsure, keep going. If you're doubting yourself, keep going. Because the pain of discipline will never be greater than the pain of regret. And years from now, you'll look back and thank yourself for not quitting when it was hard. You'll be proud of every early morning, every late night, every lonely sacrifice. You'll be proud that you didn't need applause to stay committed. You'll be proud that you built the strength to keep going even when it hurt. That's what discipline does. It makes you unstoppable. It transforms potential into power. It turns dreams into reality. So whatever you do, stay disciplined. You were never meant to blend in. You were not born to walk the path that everyone else walks, to think how everyone else thinks, to settle for what everyone else settles for. There's something in you, a spark, a voice, a fire that keeps whispering that there's more. And yet too often people silence that voice. They trade greatness for comfort. They trade uniqueness for approval. But the truth is, you cannot stand out by trying to fit in. You cannot lead by following the crowd. If you want to live a life that means something, that shakes the ground when you walk, then you got to be willing to walk alone. It's not easy. The moment you decide to live different, you become a target. People won't understand. Some will criticize you. Some will criticize you. Some will laugh at you. Some will try to pull you back into the box because they're afraid your boldness will expose their fear, but that's not your concern. You weren't created to meet their expectations. You were created to fulfill your potential. And potential isn't reached in the safety of the crowd. It's discovered in the solitude of courage. You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You've got to be willing to go places others won't, do things others won't, think in ways others can't. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. That's what defines legacy. Everyone wants to shine, but few are willing to stand alone in the dark long enough to earn their light. You've got to decide today, do you want to be liked or remembered? Because the road to greatness isn't crowded, it's lonely. But that's where leaders are born. When you start thinking different, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming your upbringing, your environment, your circumstances. Instead, you say, I'm responsible for where I go next. You stop looking around and start looking within. Because the real transformation doesn't happen out there. It starts in here, in your mind, in your heart, in the quiet decision to rise even when no one's clapping, in the belief that you have what it takes even when no one says so. There's power in being different, but it takes guts. It takes nerve. It takes standing in a room full of people who doubt you and still believing in yourself. It takes rejecting the narrative that you have to fit a mold, follow the trend, or ask for permission to live big. You don't. You never did. You never did. The ones who changed the world are the ones who weren't afraid to challenge it. The ones who didn't wait for a blueprint, they became the blueprint. You gotta understand that when you commit to walking your own path, you're going to outgrow some people. That's part of the process. Growth is not always a shared experience. Some people love the old version of you because it didn't threaten them. But now that you're growing, evolving, leveling up, they feel exposed. And that's not your burden to carry. Let them go. Keep growing. Keep climbing. Because your future doesn't have space for small-minded thinking or fear-based friendships. Your future demands your full focus and full authenticity. Don't be afraid to be misunderstood. Don't be afraid to be doubted. That comes with the territory. In fact, it's a sign you're doing something worth talking about. If your dream doesn't make people uncomfortable, it's not big enough. If your vision doesn't raise eyebrows, you're not reaching far enough. Stop living your life trying to earn approval from people who wouldn't even clap for you if you won. Their validation is not your fuel. Your vision is. Your purpose is. And don't think for 1 second that standing alone means standing forever alone. Because when you commit to authenticity, when you walk boldly in your difference, the right people will find you. People who don't want you to dim your light. People who speak your language. People who aren't threatened by your fire, but inspired by it. But you'll never meet them if you stay stuck in spaces you've outgrown. If you shrink to fit, you will never expand to lead. So break away from the pack. Take the road let's travel. Trust that your difference isn't a defect. It's your divine advantage. It's your edge. It's what sets you apart in a world full of copy-paste identities. Use it. Own it. Lean into it. Because the world doesn't need more echoes. It needs original voices. It needs visionaries, trailblazers, warriors. And that's exactly who you are when you choose to live boldly. Think differently and move with purpose. You are not too weird. You are not too much. You are not too ambitious. You are right on time, exactly as you are. With all your quirks, your fire, your vision, your wild dreams, you are what the world didn't see coming. So stop playing small. Stop dumbing down your brilliance. Stop hiding your passion. Because when you rise fully into who you are, unapologetically and relentlessly, you give others permission to do the same. This is your time. Your voice matters. There will come a moment in your life when everything you plan falls apart. When the road you thought you'd take disappears beneath your feet. When the people you trusted walk away. When your strength feels drained and your dreams feel distant. In that moment, you will face a decision. Will you give in to the pain or will you push through it? Because pain is not your enemy, it's your invitation. It's your teacher. It's the moment when your comfort ends and your character begins. Everyone wants the reward, but few are willing to endure the struggle. Everybody talks about success, but not everyone is willing to suffer through the silence, the setbacks, the sackbacks. You can't have growth without pain. You can't reach the next level with the same strength you had at the last. Pain is the process that forges champions. It's where discipline is built. It's where resilience is born. It's where you prove to yourself that you're not just chasing a dream, you're committed to it. When you're hurting, when it feels like you got nothing left, that's not the time to quit. That's the time to dig deeper. That's the time to lean in. That's the time to remind yourself why you started. Because pain doesn't mean it's over. It means you're close. The pressure you're feeling is part of the process. You're being stretched, molded, tested. And if you can hold on through that, if you can survive the storm, you'll come out the other side stronger than you ever imagined. But too many people let pain define them. They let one failure convince them they're not enough. They let one rejection stop them from trying again. They let temporary defeat become permanent. Don't do that. Don't you dare let one dark moment dictate the rest of your life. You're bigger than your pain. You're stronger than your circumstances. You are not your mistakes. You are your comeback. And the only thing standing between who you are and who you could be is whether you're willing to endure. Pain has a purpose. It exposes weakness. It reveals truth. It clarifies your priorities. It strips away everything fake, everything shallow, everything that doesn't matter. It forces you to focus, to fight, to rise. It introduces you to the real you. Not the version that performs when everything's going right, but the version that shows up when everything's going wrong. That's the version the world needs. That's the version success demands. You gotta make peace with discomfort because the people who win in life are not the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who master it. They use it. They grow through it. They don't run from it. They run into it, knowing that every struggle is sharpening them. Every hardship is humbling them. Every trial is teaching them. You don't become elite by staying safe. You become elite by facing what others fear. And hear this clearly. Pain is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. If you walk away in your pain, you forfeit the promise. You rob yourself of the reward. What if the breakthrough was one more step ahead? What if the answer was in the next attempt? What if the opportunity was waiting right beyond the obstacle? You'll never know if you stop. You'll never reach it if you back down. You've got to be willing to suffer now so you can shine later. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's going to carry you to your destiny. It's on you. You've got to rise when it hurts. You've got to push when it's heavy. You got to believe when it's dark. You got to move even when you feel stuck. That's where the difference is made. Not when you feel great. Not when the path is clear. But when it's messy, when it's uncertain, when your legs are shaking and you choose to keep going anyway. You're not weak for feeling pain. You're not broken for struggling. You're human. And real strength isn't pretending it doesn't hurt. It's showing up while it hurts. It's doing the work when it's inconvenient. It's staying focused when it's frustrating. It's giving your best even when you're running on empty. That's power. That's grit. That's how legends are made. One day the pain will pass. The tears will dry. The weight will lift. And when that day comes, you'll look back and realize it was never trying to break you. It was building you. Every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every lonely hour, it was preparing you for a stage you haven't stepped on yet, a platform you haven't seen yet, a future you haven't fully imagined yet. So don't run from the pain. Don't numb it. Don't deny it. Embrace it. Learn from it. Let it shape you. Let it fuel you. Let it drive you. Because on the other side of that pain is the version of you you've been fighting to become, the version that's focused, fierce, unstoppable. And once you meet that version, once you walk through the fire and see what you're truly capable of, you'll never fear pain again. You're welcome.